We had a very beautiful journey till now, wherein the speaker talked of the various aspects contained in the text of Bhagavat Gita. Today, the speaker will be discussing on the title Renunciation through Knowledge. It's a very good issue that would attract lot of new ideas and thoughts that would greatly help us in the proper understanding of Bhagavad Gita. In the last lecture, Professor Pramod Das, our speaker, as usual, talked on karma dynamics, wherein he spoke of vikarma, karma and akarma. He started his lecture with vikarma, which means bad actions, and then he made a transit to karma, which he defined as good actions, and finally he landed up in akarma, which he defined as in the lines of Bhagavad Gita as desireless action, or which may translate it as nishkama karma. The beautiful message that he gave in the last class is that normally we think that karma will lead to perfection, but it is not actually so. He made it clear in the lines of the Bhagavad Gita that Bhagavad Gita starts with perfection. Bhagavad Gita wants a man to be a yogi, a perfect yogi. It is only then a man in his yogic sense would carry on an action that we call akarma. Whatever action the yogi does is akarma, because that action will not be binding that man. That action will be liberating every moment. It is an action which may be called as a desireless action, because that generates no further desires, and that action is concerned about the well-being of all, and there is also no desire for any fruit of the action that is carried on. How big the action that may be, the yogi is never concerned about the fruits that are going to accrete. So it is in this sense that a man carrying on a karma is a liberated man who is beyond the ordinary karmas. He is a man who carries on his duty in the lines of swadharma, keeping in mind the context where he carries on the action. So in the last class, Professor Das was very much highlighting on the context. One may be carrying on his swadharma, but his swadharma may change as per the context. So that's how a yogi, while carrying on his karma, which properly be called as akarma, he carries on the action desirelessly without thinking of any consequences. Only the concern is his swadharma and the worldly well-being and the worldly well-being. So this is the message that we had from the last class. So starting from the last class, let us move forward for the further talk from Professor Das on renunciation through knowledge. Hope this lecture too would be a very interesting one and would greatly contribute to the development of say noble thoughts and ideas. So with this hope, I now move to Professor Das for the lecture. Over to Professor Das. Welcome, sir.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Audible and visible, both.
Thank you. Respected Dr. Rao, esteemed participants of this session, and very esteemed the members of Wisdom Intellectual Forum Puri. We have a very beautiful topic today, that is renunciation through knowledge, that we shall discuss. The ultimate purpose of life, the purpose of human life, is freedom from suffering. It is generally accepted in every system of Indian philosophy. Every system of Indian philosophy, basically orthodox systems, they accept that the ultimate goal of human life is freedom from suffering, freedom from bondage. We may call it liberation or mukti or moksha, nirvana. There are different terms for that state of freedom. But the state is the state of freedom. We may call it in different concepts, different terms. We can use different terms for that state of freedom. Now the question is, if that is the goal of human life, then what is the real position of man in this mundane world? Is not man free? What is the present? 1 minute. What is the present position of man, existential position of man in this world? That position is either man is free or man is bound. There are two possibilities. We cannot say that all human beings are suffering from bondage. This will be a wrong generalization. But we have two possibilities, that either we are bound or free. If our purpose is to be free, that means at any moment we can be free. Freedom is not attained at our old age. We can be free at every moment. That means every moment is the moment of our bondage, and every moment is also the possibility of that state of freedom. So the choice is ours, whether really we want to be free, or we want to be bound. Choice is there because man has freedom. Basically, man is gifted with freedom. That is the, I shall say, the best asset which we all have been blessed by God, that we have that free will, freedom. We are talking about liberation, and many people take it in the metaphysical sense, but we all enjoy our freedom in our political life, in our social life, in our individual life. We all enjoy that freedom because we all seek to be free. Freedom seeking is native to our psychic. Therefore, that is the concept of a freedom in politics, that this country is free or not, whether the citizens are free or not. Democracy is the result of that. In a democratic government, citizens enjoy many types of freedom. We have freedom of speech. We have many types of freedom. We are enjoying that. So freedom is not only a philosophical concept. Freedom is pursued in every sphere of our life. So whether we want to be free or not, that is our choice. So first of all, we shall discuss why we are not free, though it appears that we are free. But if we shall think deeply, we shall think deeply about our existence, about our thought process, about our activities, we shall come to know that we are not free. But our goal is to be free. Two things. We are not free, and our goal is to be free. Education is also meant for that. Why we are getting educated? We are getting educated only in order to enjoy that freedom. Freedom from ignorance. Freedom from different types of bondage. So what is the root cause of our bondage? Now the question comes whether karma or action is the root cause of our bondage. Whether our actions bind us. It appears that we are bound by our actions. Our actions bind us. So we say action is the cause of bondage. But this is the proximate cause of our bondage. This is not the root cause of our bondage. Immediate cause. Action is the immediate cause, the proximate cause of our bondage. If we shall go on the causal series, then we shall reach at a point, the root point, that is ignorance. Ignorance is the root cause of our bondage. The final cause, the ultimate cause of bondage is not action, that is our ignorance. And ignorance is the root of all types of bondage and suffering. This is accepted not only in the Bhagavad Gita, it is also accepted in all orthodox systems of Indian philosophy. In the Upanishads, in the Vedas, and in all the orthodox systems of Indian philosophy, it is accepted that the root cause of bondage is ignorance. If ignorance is the root cause of bondage, then it implies knowledge is the root cause of liberation or freedom. If ignorance is the root cause of bondage and karma is the immediate cause of bondage, then what are the intermediary causes? The causes that come between ignorance and karma. Because ignorance is the first ladder, and karma is the last ladder. Then what are the intermediary ladder? Which are the ladders which exist between the first ladder and the last ladder? That means there is a causal series. Ignorance is the root cause of suffering. Ignorance is the root cause of this causal series. Secondly, due to that ignorance, we are ignorant of the ladders, the intermediate steps, the causal series of our bondage. So ignorance plays a double role. Ignorance is the material cause, to say it is material cause, or it is the real cause, out of which the entire causal series has been originated. That is the root cause, out of which the causal series, I shall say, what are the steps between the first ladder and last ladder. But that ignorance is the cause of the causal series, and because of that ignorance, we are ignorant of, that means we don't have knowledge of, we fail to know the causal series. Epistemologically, we are ignorant of the causal series, and ontologically, ignorance is the root cause. Ontologically means it has certain effects on our life. It has certain effects on our life. Therefore, it is ontological. Epistemologically, we are ignorant that we are ignorant. We are ignorant of our ignorance. Therefore, in Vedanta philosophy, It is said there is no distinction between ontology and epistemology. There is no such duality. The moment you know that you are ignorant, the moment you know that you are ignorant, you are not ignorant. The moment you know that you are in Maya, you are not in Maya. That means to become the truth by knowing the truth. The moment I know that I am ignorant of this, that means I came to know this. So knowledge has also double role. Ignorance has also double role. Ignorance is the root cause of suffering because it has certain effects on our life. It is the cause of the causal series, and at the same time, it makes us ignorant of this causal series, of the effect of the ignorance. That means ignorance is the cause and ignorance is also the effect. Similarly, knowledge is the cause and knowledge is also the effect. There is no dichotomy between cause and effect in knowledge. I know Brahman means I become Brahma. Brahmavit Brahmeva Bhavati. That means that. There is no gap between ontology and epistemology. So, it appears to us that our karma, our actions that we do in our daily life, these actions really bind us. But this is not the fact at all. We should not be worried about our actions. We should not be worried. This concession is there. If somebody committed a mistake, suppose our child committed a mistake, we should not blame his action. We should not. We should not. In a court of law or in society, the interpretation is different because there is no excuse. But if we shall discuss it philosophically, philosophical is real. What happens in the court of law or what happens in the society, that is not real. They have no time to go to the root. But parents should have time to go to the root of the actions done by children or actions done by husband, actions done by wife or actions done by anybody else. We should not judge anybody by his action but by his intention. By his intention, by his education, by his culture, by his sanskar. This time he committed this mistake, therefore I punished him. By that way, the problem is not solved at all. This is wrong parenting. This is a misconception. There is no problem with the mistake that is done by the child. Therefore, we should have to go into the depth. We have to inquire about the cause of that action, and that is the role of knowledge. What is done, that is action. How it is done, that is action. But why it is done, it is knowledge. We are not interested, we should not be interested, what is done. We should not be interested how it is done, how intelligently my child committed this mistake, how clever is my child. We should not be interested in that. But why at all my child committed this mistake? Why this possibility is there? Why the elder child? Why this child is not doing this mistake? Is not committing this mistake? Why that particular child is committing that mistake? ଆମର ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ ବି କହନ୍ତି ଅଭାବେ ସ୍ୱଭାବ ନଷ୍ଟ। ଅଭାବେ ସ୍ୱଭାବ, ଅଭାବ ମଧ୍ୟ ଗୋଟେ କଣ୍ଡିସନ। ପଭର୍ଟି is also a condition that also leads to many types of effects, many types of wrong actions. If we shall inquire about such conditions of our actions, we shall have a long list that our society is responsible, our government is responsible, our poverty is responsible, our education system is responsible, our culture is responsible, our religion is responsible, our parenting is responsible. These are all external conditions which are responsible for an action, but we ignore all these conditions. We take the immediate cause as the root cause. You committed this, therefore you will be punished. But also in three theories of punishment, there are three theories of punishment. There is a theory of punishment which is called reformative theory of punishment. That punishment does not aim at giving punishment to any person. Giving punishment is not the goal. The goal is to reform the criminal, reform the child who has committed this mistake, so that he will not commit the mistake again. Therefore, we have to go to the root cause of our bondage. What is the root cause? Root cause of our suffering, root cause of our mistakes. That is ignorance. That means the child is not properly educated. Education does not mean just going to school and college and getting certificates. First class, 90%, 99%, 100%. That is not education. Education means whether you are educated or not. Getting education and being educated, there is a hell and heaven difference. Now we are living in such a society where many of us have got education, but we are not really educated. Therefore, what is the Real cause of our bondage, ignorance is the real cause of our bondage. From ignorance, we like and dislike, the external world, the events of the external world, the objects of the external world, persons who are available, who are living with us in this external world. Likeness and dislikeness. It is because of our ignorance. And from that, we create certain vasana, that is tendency. Suppose I like something, then I shall start thinking of that. Suppose I perceive something, there is no problem. But if I like my perceptible object, if I like that object, suppose I ate something, there is no problem. Suppose I liked it, then I will start thinking of it. The more I think, the more I get attached. If I like an object, then I develop the emotion, the affection, the attachment of likeness for that object. If I do not like an object, then I develop the attitude of aversion, that I don't like, I hate it. That means, due to my ignorance, I fail to observe my vasanas. I fail to observe that I am trapped by my likeness and dislikeness. I am trapped by this external world, and I go in that chain. Ignorance, from that vasana, from that my thoughts, from that my desires, and from desires I have only reactions, no action. In the last sessions I had told that we only express our reactions, which we consider that I am doing action. Any action that is prompted by my vasana, my desire means desire for the consequence, desire for the imaginary results, unnecessary imagination. If my action is prompted by my tendencies, infatuation, anger, greed, then that action is only my reaction. That is not action. That means from ignorance, I can do only reaction. I can have only reaction. So for action, I need knowledge. Either I am doing an action out of my ignorance or by its side effects. And it is natural that every man is ignorant, because the scope of knowledge is so vast, we cannot know. In spite of all the developments of science, philosophy, religion, we cannot know the totality, we cannot know the whole reality. Therefore, this small island of our knowledge is surrounded by the vast ocean of our ignorance. We have to accept that. We have to accept that. This is about the knowledge of the external world, what is and what is not. Therefore, the question of relativity is there. But so far as my existence is concerned, my thoughts are concerned, my actions are concerned, this knowledge is not so vast that I can or we can have this knowledge at least to regulate our desires. How? One is the quantitative knowledge, that means how far you know the external world, how far you know the creation. This knowledge is a quantitative knowledge. Suppose now we are landing on moon or Mars. It is a quantity. That means we have achieved this much. The development of science, the development of philosophy, the development of religion, the development of human intelligence, that is only quantity. That means to this level we have reached. So that ignorance will remain forever. We cannot cross it. But so far our self-knowledge is concerned, so far our own existence is concerned, how can we control our desires? How can we control our thoughts? That method is very simple. For that, we need not know the entire cosmos. The simplest knowledge is that if we know this much, that yes, my knowledge is just an island and that is surrounded by a vast ocean of ignorance. If I came to know this much, then I shall have no false notion about this Jagat. For example, Brahma Satya Jagat Mithya. Suppose for some it is quite impossible to know that Brahma Satya. It is very difficult because it is based upon realization that one will come to such a stage to realize that Brahma is Satya. If Brahma Satya is not realizable, at least one should realize that this Jagat is Mithya. That means whatever I am experiencing, that is relative by nature. That is not absolute. That is relative. That means everything is subject to change. Everything is subject to change. This much we can experience. Suppose one fails to have that celestial experience of Brahman, one must have the empirical experience, because we all live in this Jagat, we all live in this practical Jagat, practical world, and we all experience that everything is getting changed. We perceive the change, but we do not accept it. The knowledge that everything is getting changed, Buddha said this much. Buddha was silent about metaphysics. Buddha simply said that everything is getting changed. And that experience is everybody's cup of tea. That experience can be experienced by everybody because we live. For example, we can experience the change of our body. That I was very small in my childhood, and I see the gradual growth of my body. I see the gradual maturity of my mind. All these things I experience. I experience that how a seed sprouts to a plant and a plant becomes a big tree. We experience that people are dying. People are dying. So death is natural. From this experience of the empirical world, we can at least know that Jagat Mithya. Jagat Mithya means Jagat is subject to change. If one is able to know that Jagat Mithya, that is equal to say Brahma Satya. If you know that Brahma Satya, then you can know Jagat Mithya. If you know that Jagat Mithya, that is equal to say Brahma Satya. Same thing. It is not that only by knowing Brahman to be true, one can come to know that Jagat Mithya. No. If at least we start our journey from from the world of relativity, and if at least we realize that everything is subject to change, everything shall pass away, nothing is permanent, everything is subject to change, and I am experiencing the changes in my body, in my mind, in my intellect. These experiences are not foreign to me. These are readily available. If this much we came to know, then there is a scope, there is a possibility to know that if this is false, then that is true. Even if you do not say that that is true, it is true. It does not become true by your declaration. Truth is truth whether you declare it or not. But at least we have to understand the world where you live in, that is a changing world. That world is not constant. And nothing of yours is constant. This is knowledge. If everything is subject to change, if my body is changing, then also my thoughts are changing. My thoughts are not constant. They are the results of the function of my brain. They are the products of my likeness and dislikeness. And thoughts will be changed every day. Every day my thoughts are getting changed. If I came to understand that my thoughts are changed, then why should I hang over by one thought for whole life? Our crisis is that, our problem is that we think.
Sir, microphone is off. Microphone is off probably. Not audible.
No, it is open, sir.
Not audible.
Hello.
Now audible.
We can hear.
Now audible, sir. Now audible.
Hello. ଆଚ୍ଛା ମୁଁ ତାହେଲେ କଣ କୋଉଠୁ କହିନି, କୋଉଠୁ ଆପଣ ଶୁଣି ନାହାନ୍ତି?
We hear everything, sir. Please continue. from where you have stopped.
Okay, okay. Rao sir, what I was saying? Hello?
Even though you accept or not, Brahman is Satya, it is Satya, it doesn't depend whether you believe it or not. Brahma is Satya, it is Satya. Okay. So till that I could hear, after that I could not hear. Jagat is Mithya, okay, that you have taken, and you have
Okay, okay, okay. I got. If the knowledge of a Brahman or the knowledge of truth is a difficult task for us, because everybody can't have that access. Suppose a farmer, suppose an illiterate person, our children, those who are not interested in philosophy. So for them it is a difficult task. So what is Brahma? What is truth? I can't understand. So don't begin from that. Begin from this empirical world. Buddha did that. Buddha was silent about metaphysics. We experience this empirical world. We experience our body. We experience our mind. We deal with them. I am dealing with my body since 50 years. So I am very much acquainted with my body. And I know that my body is changing, my body is getting changed. And I am very much acquainted with my mind, that my mind is getting transformed, getting matured day by day. That means it is changing. Whether it is evolving to a higher state or not, that is a separate question. It is changing or not. If we understand that something is changing, then we should not cling to that, because it is changing. Okay. If something is changing and we came to, suppose we are on that boat, if the boat is moving and we are on that boat, and we are also moving with that boat. If we are moving with our ignorance, then there is no problem. So far we are moving with our ignorance, we are only doing reactions. So far we understand that we are observing the changing phenomena. I experience that means I transcend that changing phenomena. Then my action is action, not reaction, because I know what I am doing. My action is prompted from my knowledge. That is the knowledge of the fact that everything is subject to change. It is beautifully explained in Jaina system. Sad asti, sad. Sad means perhaps. Yes, from this context, from this perspective, this conclusion can be said. This conclusion, this view cannot be ascertained, cannot be said absolutely. That means the emotion that I have now, the reaction that I have now, the thought that I have now, it is only for this moment. I am not that. I am the observer. If I am the observer of my changing mind, as I am the observer of my the problem is that we are the observe we can all observe the changing body, but when the question of a mind takes place, we are confused. We fail to observe our changing mind. If my mind is upset now, I take it to be granted. There I fail to imply that knowledge, and this will also pass away. This will also pass away. Similarly, if I am happy now, I also take it to be granted. I should think this happy moment also pass away. Happy moments will not stay forever. Unhappy moments will also not stay forever because they will go. That is the law of physics. That is the natural law. Therefore, there is no problem when we like something because we have emotion. Therefore, we like something. And many things are not pleasant to us. Therefore, we dislike. There is no problem. But I like this thing conditionally. If such and such factors are there, I like it. But what was the case of Arjuna? Arjuna still likes his relatives in the battlefield. That was the problem. That means we should not hang over our likeness and dislikeness. In the malls, when there are certain scrolling of the ladders. As the ladders are scrolling, we have to stick to one ladder of that so promptly, otherwise we will fall down. We will lose our balance. Similarly, in the changing phenomena, we should be very much smart to cope with that changing phenomena. That is knowledge. Knowledge in theory and knowledge in practice. Theory is that I came to know that everything is subject to change. Practice is that I change my behavior, I respond according to the changes. This is the practice. One is theory, basic science and applied science. Similarly, basic ignorance, applied ignorance. Not only I know the changes, but also I behave accordingly. This is the root cause of our bondage or liberation. If you are ignorant of this, then that is the root cause, not our action. Root cause is the bondage. Root cause of bondage is ignorance. From that ignorance, we develop certain tendencies, certain habits. We become habituated of some types of likeness and dislikeness, and we become trapped. We develop certain tendencies, and from that we have thoughts, and when we have thoughts that lead to desires, passionate desires. Desire is necessary, but the desires that come from this way, these causal series, that is passionate desires. And from that passionate desires, whatever we do, that is only reaction. And whatever is a reaction, that binds us. That binds us. So this is the one aspect, one side of ignorance and bondage. Similarly, the other side is knowledge. Knowledge. If the root is knowledge, if from the beginning I have that knowledge, then there is no vasana. There is no vasana. No vasana means not wrong vasana. Vasana means habits. So we cannot be free from habits. But we shall develop good habits, good vasana. So if we have knowledge, then we have knowledge of our vasana, knowledge of our desires, whether it is desirable or not, whether it is this desire is good or bad, we have knowledge of that. And if we have knowledge of that, then we can renunciate. So the question is, from ignorance, we come to bondage. But from knowledge, we do not come to liberation directly. We come to liberation through renunciation. That means, if I have knowledge that I came to know that I have such and such vasanas, such and such desires, such and such propensities, proclivities, or bad habits, ignorance. If I came to know that, then I have to renunciate that. I have to give up that. Then liberation will be attained. We shall discuss that. Before that, we shall now again come to ignorance, then vasana. From vasana, which are hidden, we only simply perceive the action. So far as we get punishment or reward, appreciation, or many people dislike us, only because of our action, because action is perceived. What is not perceived, that is the hidden cause, that is vasana or my desires, which are not seen. As in the cyclone, there is deep cyclone becomes more effective when it lands on a particular area. So that is the action stage. But what is the root of that? That root takes place before 5 days or 4 days. That is vasana, that is the root, and this is its immediate cause. Similarly, the waves of the sea, the waves that we see, that is the immediate cause. But waves are backed by, the violent waves are backed by the silent ocean. So, though actions are physically perceived as the cause of the bondage, the hidden cause, that is our vasanas, which are not perceived by others, even not perceived by ourselves. That is ignorance. Others cannot perceive my vasana, that is natural. Even I cannot perceive my vasana, therefore that is my ignorance. That has two effects. One is introvert and the other is extrovert. We cannot speak of all types of vasanas. Therefore, all the vasanas, all the desires, All the propensities can be bracketed under three categories, which are introvert, that is sattva, raja and tam, sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. So all types of vasanas which have been created out of ignorance, they can be bracketed under three categories: sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Therefore, when we assess our personality, when we judge ourselves, when we try to understand ourselves, we are projected through these three categories: how much we are sattvic, how much we are rajasic, and how much we are tamasic. About these, we shall discuss in the next session. Just I am telling that we have infinite numbers of vasanas, and the origin is the history. We do not know the time. We are product of our vasanas, but their manifestations can be understood, can be perceived in three ways: sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Tamasic is the principle of inertia, inactivity. Rajasic is overactivity, and sattvic is the neutral state, calm, peaceful, joyful, sattvic. And we all are endowed with these three types of inward qualities, and it has its extrovert manifestations, that vasana. That extrovert manifestations are called Brahman, Vaishya, Sudra, Kshatriya. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. So it is said that according to quality and action, guna and karma, we are divided externally into four categories: Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. Inwardly, three types: Sattva, Raja and Tama. But there is misconception. We say that we are Brahmin by birth, Kshatriya by birth, Sudra by birth, Vaishya by birth. No. These four our external manifestations of our vasana. As Sattva, Raja, Tama inwardly, similarly Brahmana, Vaishya, Sudra, Kshatriya outwardly. But what is knowledge? The knowledge is that I am neither sattvic, I am neither sattvic, nor rajasic, nor tamasic, because these are all gunas. But I am gunatita because I am the observer. These gunas are changing. Sattva dominates over Raja, Raja dominates over Tama. Similarly, they dominate over each other. They are changing qualities. I am not that. I am beyond such qualities. Similarly, I am not a Brahmin. I am not a Vaishya. I am not a Sudra. I am not a Kshatriya. These are qualities. So I can't limit myself claiming that I am a Brahmin, because I am not. I am beyond that. I am beyond all qualities. I cannot be a quality. Because why? Who is that I? The knower. The knower who knows the changes. He knows the changes of these types: Sattva, Raja, and Tama. When I shall start observing my nature, my inward nature, I shall see that I have a sattvic nature, I have a rajasic nature, and I have a tamasic nature. Similarly, I see these three natures in other human beings, in animals, in plants, in the cosmos. I am observing this means I am beyond that. Who is beyond that? The knower, not the ignorant. This is the difference between the ignorant and the knower. Ignorance and knowledge. If you are ignorant, you are a party to such qualities. You are not an observer. Therefore, you are subject to the conditions of these qualities. Similarly, external manifestation of these three gunas are externally manifested as Brahmin quality, not Brahmin a caste, Brahmin qualities, Vaishya qualities, Shudra qualities, and Kshatriya qualities. These are the outer manifestations which are also subject to change. Now I am speaking something. This is my Brahmin quality. If some criminals will enter into my house, now I have to fight with them, then I shall become a Kshatriya. Otherwise, I can't fight. That quality is also with me. And when I am dealing with finance, because every man should be complete, you should have a complete personality. I need money for my living. I have to feed my family members. I have to educate my children. So for that I need money. So I should have that intelligence of commerce. In that way, I am a Vaishya. And when I serve for the society, I serve for Lokasangraha, I am doing some good works. That is my Sudra quality. Sudra quality is the highest quality. Those who know how to serve the society selflessly. Therefore, Jagannath Das is not Jagannath Das, Jagannath Mishra. So when Das means those Sevaka, those who serve, that is the highest title. That I am a Sevaka. I serve for the society, serve for humanity. So these are four external qualities only. If there is a discussion about caste, then we are not going to discuss that. That discussion can be done in another platform. That debate is something different. But these are the Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. These are the three categories of my hidden vasanas. Similarly, the quality of a Brahmana, quality of a Vaishya, Sudra and a Kshatriya are the external manifestations of these three qualities. But what is the point? I am not with these qualities. Neither I am a Brahmin. I play the role of a Brahmin when it is necessary. I play the role of a Kshatriya when it is necessary. I play the role of a Vaishya when it is necessary. I play the role of a Sudra when it is necessary. Similarly, I exercise my sattvic quality when it is necessary. I exercise my rajasic quality when it is necessary. I exercise my tamasic quality when it is necessary. And all the qualities are necessary. It is not that tamasic quality is not necessary. When I am going to sleep, I should have tamasic quality, otherwise I can't sleep. When I am going to temple, I should have sattvic quality, otherwise I can't enjoy that. Similarly, if I shall have only sattvic quality, I cannot produce child. So for producing a child, I should have a rajasic quality. So rajasic quality, sattvic quality, tamasic qualities are only three manifestations of the basic quality, the hidden quality, that is vasana. And they are from ignorance. If at least I came to know these changing phenomena, that these things are there, I have been divided into certain qualities, and by the influence of certain qualities, I am doing certain actions. If I came to understand this, then I become a knower. I become a knower. If I do not understand this, then I am ignorant. If I am ignorant, I am doing on the reactions. If I am a knower, then I am doing action. I shall give a very beautiful example, and with that example, whatever I told, that can be understood. Cricket. Imagine a cricket field. Imagine a batsman. Imagine a bowler. Imagine the entire situation, because it's very common game and it's very familiar to all of us. Suppose there is the match between India and Pakistan. It is a very sensitive match. There are so many expectations that this player must secure this much. These are the expectations. India must win. This is also expectation. So when a player is batting, we out of expectation we declare that India is batting. Actually, India is not batting. That player is batting. When an Indian player is hitting the ball of Pakistan, we shout that we hit Pakistan. But we did not hit Pakistan. We hit just the ball. So these are our reactions when we watch the cricket match in our drawing room through TV. But what is the role of that batsman who is batting there? That batsman is neither an Indian nor a Pakistan. He does not belong to India nor to Pakistan. He is simply a batsman, and his focus is on the direction of the ball, and he should hit the ball as the ball is deserving. Because the batsman has a bat, and the bat has only this much 5 inches, 4 inch space, and the ball should hit that bat, and the ball is coming on air. So imagine that situation. That is the instant bowling that will not be repeated. That ball will determine everything. So the batsman only focuses on the movement of that ball and nothing else, and that should be. Sometimes what happens, the batsman becomes nervous, and that nervousness is a psychological problem that we do in our practical life. There is no question of nervousness, because this ball is the only ball, only the situation of action which we have to face. There is no alternative. A karma yogi should be like this. Without having past memory means the previous score. Without having the future imagination that India will win, without being affected by these unnecessary things, the batsman should stay in the present, and the batsman should have a perfect perception that how the ball is coming. The ball is coming on air. With speedily it comes. And the batsman will hit the ball as the ball deserves, not how India deserves or Pakistan deserves or what our expectations deserve. Similarly, when we are doing an action, we should take that action instantly without having our past memory and future imagination. We can take another example. Suppose a doctor is operating a patient, and when he is operating the patient, he is using that knife on the different parts of the patient, parts of the body of the patient's body. So that moment, his mind should be fixed on the instant operation without being biased by anything else. This is the state of knowledge. If our mind is absent, if our mind is roaming elsewhere, that means we are biased, we are trapped, we are bound, we are conditioned, we are ignorant. So that is the cause of a bondage. Ignorance is the cause of a bondage. Knowledge is the cause of a liberation. But we shall discuss liberation in the next session, that is karma sannyasa. Today we are going to discuss what is renunciation. Renunciation means giving up, giving up. If you came to know that these things are the causes of my bondage, then I should renunciate that. A batsman should renunciate the idea that I am not an Indian player, I am not against Pakistan players, I am simply a batsman, I have a bat on my hand, and this bat is very innocent, this ball is coming, and I don't know how the ball will come, but I should remain in the present moment. I should hit the ball as the ball deserves. That means I should renunciate all these nonsense, all these stupid things, all these stupid memory, all these stupid imaginations. Then only I can act properly. Now you apply this principle in your family, in society, in your present life. If my memory is disturbing me, if my memory is the cause of my unhappiness, is my habit disturbing me, if my habit is disturbing me, then I should renunciate all these things. But what can we renunciate? Only that which belongs to us. We cannot renunciate this world because this world is not ours. This world is there. I cannot renunciate this world because this world does not belong to me. I cannot renunciate my duties because these are social obligations. I cannot renunciate the natural propensities like hunger, thirst. These things I can't renunciate because these will come. I cannot renunciate the situations because these situations will come. I can only renunciate that belongs to me. That means my unnecessary reactions, my ignorance, my propensities, my habits. I can only renunciate that. So we have to learn how to renunciate. That is the sense of detachment. If I am getting attached, then I should learn how to be detached. Liberation will come later on. By this process, if we shall have mastery, we shall have expertise in the art of renunciation, then only we shall be qualified for liberation. Without renunciation, there is no chance of liberation. Suppose therefore we see many yogi, many sannyasis, many seers, they fall, they again commit such mistakes. Like we know many examples that they again become trapped by sex propensities, money, all these things, because they have not cultured the art of renunciation. Therefore, in order to be liberated, the first step is we have to renunciate the the factors, the conditions which obstruct us for liberation and which help us for bondage. So my concluding remark is that as action is the immediate cause of bondage, immediate cause of bondage, but ignorance is the root cause of bondage. Similarly, renunciation is the immediate cause of liberation. The root cause is knowledge. I am repeating. As actions, my action is the immediate cause of bondage, but the root cause is ignorance. Similarly, renunciation is the immediate cause of liberation, but the root cause is knowledge. If knowledge leads to renunciation, renunciation leads to liberation. Therefore, it is said renunciation through knowledge. Renunciation through knowledge. Renunciation through knowledge will lead to liberation. Otherwise, not. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a very enlightening lecture. We understood many things. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, please stay with us for another 15 minutes. We shall have an interactive session. Please stay with.
Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yes, yes, rightly said by Professor Balaji Bhattacharya. Well, it's really a nice lecture. Like the earlier lectures, we had many things to learn from this lecture. So, now it is time for interaction. Well, I don't see any questions in the chat box, but if somebody wants to raise any question, they are welcome. Even Balaji Bhattacharya, if he wants to raise some issue, or if you have an issue over this, or if you want to pose any question, you are welcome. Well, I see, if I look into the chat box, there is no question as such, because the presentation was so clear and nice. I don't think there is any confusion anywhere. If anybody has any doubt or question, they may ask. I don't see anybody. Well, I will wait for half minute. I will not ask anybody to comment on this, but if they are interested, they can comment. They can raise questions by unmuting themselves. If anybody wants. Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I shall add only 2 or 3 sentences.
Okay, carry on, sir.
In my concluding remark.
Carry on, sir.
We have body, mind, intellect. We have body, mind, and intellect. My point is, these 3 parts should be integrated. The crisis today is the crisis of disintegration of these 3 physical parts that we have. Our body, mind, and intellect, they should be integrated. Okay, this is my last sentence. Otherwise, we are not a complete personality.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I don't see any question in the chat box. So, if anybody is interested, they can ask something. Well, I don't see anybody. It's now time. Well, I would like to make a brief synopsis of what Professor Pramod Das has said. Carrying from the last lecture, he took a path of renunciation through knowledge. So to explain this, he started with a proposition that in Indian systems we find that the purpose of goal is to be free from suffering or bondage. So everybody wants to be free from bondage, and he says man possibility to be free every moment, but it depends on how it takes that very moment. So that is very important. So he starts with a position in the Indian world where he talks of two possibilities. Well, man is either free or he is bound. If we say that man is bound, there is a possibility that he can be free. Having said this, he has said beforehand that every moment we can try ourselves to be free, because man is by nature a freedom seeking creature. He seeks freedom in this world, maybe in the area of, say, politics or any area, religion, any area that we take, because man is basically, as he says, he's a freedom seeking creature. He seeks freedom in every sense, in every field of his association in the society. So he takes, why are we not free? What is the root cause of bondage? So he questions this, and he finds an immediate answer that maybe karma is binding us. But then he again takes a stand. No, it appears as if our actions do bind us, but actually it is not our actions that bind us, rather it is our ignorance that binds us. So he very beautifully he explains how we normally feel that it is our action that is the cause of our bondage. He says no, he discards that and says no, it's our ignorance. So having said this, he says karma or action is the immediate cause of bondage, but the real cause or the root cause of bondage is our ignorance. So it is the ignorance that we need to be free from. If we are free from ignorance, maybe we would land in the path of knowledge. Now he says, having said this, a man in his ignorance is ignorant of many things. So he falls into a bondage, and in that state of bondage, he takes the normal actions, the ordinary actions, or actions as such as the causes of bondage. Now he says, what is knowledge? Very beautifully, he said a statement that that the moment we are able to know that I am ignorant of my ignorance, so that is nothing but knowledge. The moment I take a stand that I am ignorant of my ignorance, then that is nothing but knowledge. You are on the path of knowledge. So why did he say so? He said because the knowledge, the so-called knowledge that we have is so minute. Why it is so minute? Because it is bounded by a vast ocean of ignorance. So we should understand this. A man who understands this is actually liberation. Liberation is, or say, is not exactly liberation. He is in the path of knowledge, because the area of ignorance is so vast, and the realization that my knowledge is so small and the sphere of ignorance is so vast, that very knowledge that I am ignorant of many things. So that is leading oneself to in the path of knowledge. Now, very beautifully, he said that whenever somebody is punished for some action, we give primacy to the action for punishing that man. We take the immediate cause, that is the action, as the cause of punishment. But we should, philosophically speaking, we should look for the basis for a man to carry a particular course of action. We are not doing that. What is the intention behind an action? That is more important rather than the immediate action for subjecting someone to punishment. So intentions are more important. So first of all, he said no. Actions are not really should not be taken as binding us. We should be we are thinking that the immediate that the immediate cause, but that the root, that not the final cause. Then he moves to say that while taking away the action, he says one should be focusing on the intention of a person for carrying on a particular course of action. So he lands up in intention of the agent. Having said so, he comes to a situation where he says that that this world, whatever we experience, it is not a world that is absolute. It is a world that is changing every moment. And when you say, if you're going by the Vedantic lines, he says very nicely. He says when you say Jagat Mithya very nicely says Jagat Mithya is not that everything is false. No, Jagat Mithya means that the knowledge that everything is changing every moment. That is, that shows the falsity of this world. Everything is changing every moment. Even myself, I am changing every moment. Everybody is changing every moment. I am not the same person when I started up this lecture. So everybody is changing every moment. So if something is changing and we come to know that it is changing, then we should not cling to it. So this is the idea. If we know that the world is changing, okay, and this knowledge should help us not to cling to this world. So it should be free from this world. This is how the Jagat is mithya. The Jagat is false because it is changing. So what is real? What is permanent? So he says it is the Brahma Satya. It is the Brahman. Which is beyond this world of changes. And he very nicely says whether you believe it or not, whether you can elevate to that level or not, Brahman is Satya, it is Satya. Whether you take it or you don't take it. So the knowledge that the world is changing is knowledge, but when we act accordingly to this knowledge, that would help us to move on in the path of liberation. Now he very nicely said that as long as we are carried on by our past dispositions, by bad memories, thoughts, or our perceptions of the past, then whatever we do, they are not actions, they are only reactions. As long as we are ignorant of this changing world, as long as we are ignorant of our ignorance, we react to the situations. We do not act. Who acts then? A man of knowledge acts. What is this action? An action is not a reaction. Action is action. How that is possible? When man sacrifices his past dispositions, when man sacrifices his, say, lust, his anger, his past thoughts, his bad memories, his false imaginations, his false concerns, his bad habits. So when he sacrifices all this, so not, he says very nicely, he says, once you are on the path of knowledge, even though you have achieved knowledge, this knowledge is not going to liberate you. So the very title he has made, that liberation is possible through renunciation. What you are going to sacrifice, what you are going to renunciate. Yes, very nicely has said, you have to renunciate your krodha, you have to renunciate your lobha, you have to renunciate your bad thoughts, past dispositions, your wrong imaginations, your wrong concerns, your bad habits, bad dispositions, bad clingings. You should be free from all this. Your bad desires. Very nicely said. Desire is required, but we should be free from the passionate desires. Even passionate desires has to be renunciated. Who can do this? Only a man of knowledge can do this. So most of the systems, they say, soon we acquire knowledge, we are liberated. No, but that is not the case here. The knowledge, even though you are a man of knowledge, you cannot achieve liberation unless and until you renunciate these predispositions, bad memories, and bad thoughts, and all sort of clingings. If you are not able to renunciate, you are not in a liberated state. That's why he took the example of sadhu sannyasis who claim to be sadhu sannyasis. Well, they have knowledge of what is good or what is bad, but they are not able to renunciate the bad dispositions, the bad karmas. So they carry on, even in the dress of the sannyasi, they carry on wrong actions. Many of the sannyasis that we have in our society, they are behind the bars. They claim to be sannyasis, but they are not able to renunciate the false clingings, the bad karmas, the vikarmas. They're not able to renunciate. Though they have knowledge, but the element of renunciation was missing. So that's how they are not liberated. So very nicely he has framed out the lecture, and very nicely the example of the cricket match was beautiful in a sense. Yes, well, seeing a cricket match and going to the center, it's quite different. Whenever when a batsman makes a wrong hit, we blame him, but see the pressure in between. So very nice take from this lecture of Professor Das is that at the center, you should not think who you are, with whom you are playing, what sort of ball is going to come, whether I'm going to able to hit this ball or not. These sort of things should not come. What was my score in the last match? Even though he feels, oh, I had scored 100 in the last match, that will create overconfidence and that will lead to a bad start. If you think that last time I have scored only 2 runs against this team, so that will also make him put him in a problem. So that a man with a complete mind, a man of knowledge, will not look into those issues. That's why every team has a psychologist who trains not to carry the past with you. Whenever you go independently. Don't think of what has happened, what you are Sachin Tendulkar. Well, it doesn't matter what you are. You are a zero, you are not a Sachin Tendulkar for that day. So carry yourself to the best. Don't ponder over the past. Don't overthink. Just deal with the situation as the situation comes. So that's how you have to be free. So a man of knowledge can only do this. So being at the center, if you ponder over whether our team is going to win or not, what will happen if the team loses, or the otherwise. Oh, if you win, if you start celebrating from the first shot that you have made, you have hit a 6, and you start celebrating from the first shot, you will not be successful playing the other balls. So you should be free from all that. What you have done should be free from that. So you should treat yourself at the present. Only a man of knowledge can do this. Only a man of knowledge can leave everything aside and deal with the situation as it comes to him. So that is renunciation. And such sort of people get really liberated. And that sort of batsman can really score well, who has left the past behind, who has renunciated all sort of things into the flames of Yajna Kunda. All sort of things have been renunciated, and he is putting himself free from all past dispositions, bad memories. Everything is bracketed, taken in. So that is only possible for a man of knowledge. Only that sort of knowledge, that sort of man with that sort of knowledge, having renunciated everything, will get liberation. So this is a very good message from this lecture. We learned a lot. Thank you very much, sir, for this very nice lecture.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One interesting. I am also Balaji sir is also listening.
Yes, sir.
The interesting is that this is the role of the batsman. You just think of this bowler, the role of the bowler takes advantage of the overconfidence of the batsman, not taking that batsman is an expert batsman. He when the bowler throws the ball, he reads the mental condition of the batsman, whether the batsman is overconfident, whether the batsman is nervous, whether the batsman is absent minded, whether the batsman expects more. So when a bowler, the counterpart, bowler means the enemy, the counterpart, when the bowler is bowling, he is bowling according to the psychological conditions, reactions of the batsman. Therefore, the batsman should expose himself, should project himself as a Stitaprajna so that the bowler cannot read the reactions of the batsman.
Yes.
Got my point or
Yes.
not?
Thank you. Yes, that happens.
Even in the battlefield, the Arjuna was advised to do that because your enemies are there. You don't feel nervous. You may have nervousness, but you don't project that. If you will project that, enemies will take advantage of that. That will be your weakness. And in our social life, in our practical life, we should not project our weakness, our meanness before others, because others will take advantage of it. Okay, so that is
Yes.
possible only through knowledge.
Yes. Yes. So Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, or I mean the Mahabharata war, he was doing the role of a psychologist.
Hmm.
He was training Arjuna's mind. Arjuna's mind was disturbed. He was training, he was strengthening his mind. And that is what is done by a psychologist, even a psychologist whom we see with the team. The work of a psychologist is that. So you don't see the opponent, okay, even don't see the opponent, because if you see the opponent, you will be disturbed. You think as if it is a practice match. You take your mind who is bowling. You take a predisposition. What is the team? How confident is the team? You take up all these things, because if they ponder you, you are blocked. Your mind is blocked. But once your mind is blocked, your hands will be blocked. So you take out all those things. You focus, as you say, you focus on the direction of the ball, the length of the ball, the velocity of the ball, and judge accordingly. And you're done. You're nearly done. But if you focus on the negatives, how the ball would be, what would be its length, what would be its
Hmm.
velocity, now you're trapped. Because
Who is the bowler?
yes,
Who is
yes,
the
yes,
bowler?
everything you get trapped. So you should
Hmm.
be free from all this. Okay, the bowler will do his work,
Hmm.
even though you think or you don't think, the bowler will do his duty. But if you are overconfident or you are nervous, the bowler will take the advantage of that. So if you are a Sthita Prajna, if you are a man of knowledge, you have to renunciate. You should be free from all these past dispositions. You should be
Hmm.
free. You should leave everything. You should bundle everything and leave it in your dressing room and come
Hmm.
as a batsman to face the opponent. Though you're not thinking he is the opponent.
Hmm.
Once you think he is the
Hmm.
opponent, again a
Hmm.
predisposition. You
Hmm.
think you are a player and you have to play. So that
Hmm.
should be the mind with which you have to be in the battlefield. That's what even Krishna was teaching. Don't think they are the opponents. Don't think they are the relatives. Try
Hmm.
to be free from that. You
Hmm.
are a warrior and your work is to protect Swadharma. So exactly, you are a batsman and you are there to score runs. Don't think who is the bowler. Don't think what is the team. What is the strength of the team. So do your duty. Forget about other things. If you ponder over other things, you fail in your duty. So you should be free from all that. It's only then you can master your shots and you can
Mm.
do well in the match. So that's it.
So, sir, so the attitude of the batsman should be like this:
Yes,
throw the ball, throw the ball. I shall see, I shall face. Throw
yes,
the ball, I shall face.
yes, yes, yes,
I should not undermine that.
yes,
That's no. This is the very. He's very inferior. He
yes,
does not know the trick of throwing the ball. No,
mm,
it all depends upon the movement of the ball, and that movement is instant. So throw the ball. I shall face it. Similarly, a karma yogi will say, "Give me the work. I shall do it." Because yoga karmesu kausalam. I know the trick. That trick is only the trick is that I am not disturbed by the conditions. The only trick is that I know the art of renunciating the obstructing elements. I know that trick. So now you throw the ball, I shall see it. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
okay, 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 okay. Thank you for the beautiful example to discuss the entire 1.5 lecture. So very good lecture overall, and we had a very beautiful participation. And I thank everybody for being connected, and we see you in the
Mr.
next.
Rao, I thank you. It was equally a brilliant summing up. It was absolutely beautiful. Thanks a lot. Along with Professor Rao, I also would like to thank once again Professor Dash that for inviting us for such a beautiful session that we experienced and such a hugely difficult topic that he so lucidly opened up in front of us with a brilliant example of cricket. I am really, really thankful for this evening. Thanks a lot. I will enjoy your coming up sessions also.
Grateful to you, sir. Thank you for your participation today, and we wish you should be present in the future lectures. 20 more lectures are there, and we
Yes,
wish you
I
should be
look
there.
forward to it. I look
Yes, sir.
forward to it.
Yes, sir. Tomorrow
Thank you.
also we
Thank
have a lecture. Tomorrow you have a lecture
you.
on.
Tomorrow I also will also be there.
Okay, sir.
Tomorrow,
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
pleasure,
So
pleasure, pleasure, sir.
thank you. Thank you. So it was a very nice lecture, and we really enjoyed. People connected with us. I think they might have enjoyed this lecture. Now it is time
Definitely.
to invite Swarnalata Tripathi Madam to propose a formal vote of thanks. Over to Swarnalata Tripathi Madam.
I
Thank you, sir.
request I'm taking my leave now. Sorry, please.
Thank you, sir. Namaskar to all. I thank all the participants for participating in the lecture series of the Bhagavad Gita. Am I audible?
Yes, madam, you are audible. Yes, madam, you are
I
audible.
thank you. I extend my deep sense of gratitude to all the participants. I thank the speaker, Pramod sir, for focusing on the root cause of bondage and liberation. Ignorance is the root cause of bondage, and knowledge is the root cause of liberation. I thank Dr. Rao sir for giving a beautiful concluding remark at the end of the session. Wisdom Forum is highly grateful to Dr. Rao sir. He is the real inspiration behind the screen of all success. I thank you all. We shall meet again next Saturday with a new topic. Pranam. Namaskar. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. I also thank you for being for taking all the pain for organizing this lecture series from the platform of Wisdom Intellectual Forum. Thanks a lot. Thanks everybody. I'm very much thankful to Sravani Misra madam, Rita Rai madam, who is there till the end today. I'm very much thankful to her. Thankful to Brundavan Rath sir. And also, I see a new face, Shetoswini Rath, and I'm seeing her since last say 10 lectures she's attending. Maybe she's a student, I think, from the dress that appears. Thank you all for making this webinar series a successful one. And I invite all of you to tomorrow's webinar on Carl Jasper's ideas on existentialism. It is a very interesting area, and I request all of you to attend. Thank you. Now this webinar is closed. Thanks everybody. I should thank the speaker once again for a beautiful lecture. Thank you everybody.